My beloved child, something in the spirit realm has shifted today, and it is happening right now in a way you were never meant to overlook. On this very day, December 14th, Archangel Michael steps forward with a command sharper than a sword of light. I order you to open this right now. He does not speak lightly, and he never moves without purpose. When he says open, he is not only talking about this message, he is talking about your awareness, your spirit, your eyes, and your home. Something is approaching, and it carries the kind of divine surprise that comes once in a lifetime. The message has been released from the heavens, carried by wings of fire, and Archangel Michael is urging you to receive it without hesitation. There is a reason he chose today. There is a reason this date rings with spiritual vibration. December 14th is being marked in the unseen realm as a turning point, a moment where a hidden truth begins to rise, making its way toward your home like a river breaking through a silent valley. And Michael wants you ready. A powerful revelation is traveling toward you, and whether you realize it or not, your environment has been feeling it. Have you noticed subtle shifts lately? A sudden heaviness in conversations, a strange silence in the atmosphere, a feeling like something is about to be revealed. These are not coincidences. Archangel Michael has been stirring the energy around you, preparing you for what he calls the surprising news that will enter your home. This news is not meant to harm you. No. Michael says it is meant to awaken you, to remove the veil from something you were not seeing clearly. In fact, he has been guarding your space, standing at your doorway in the spirit, ensuring that what enters your life in this season aligns with divine truth and not deception. He is stepping close right now, and if you quiet your heart for just a moment, you may feel a warmth around your shoulders or an unusual peace settling over your breathing. That is his confirmation. But hear this carefully: the surprising news coming toward your home will not look ordinary at first. It may arrive as a message, a realization, a conversation, or a sudden revelation that shifts everything. Archangel Michael says, prepare your spirit, for what is coming carries both the weight of truth and the blessing of clarity. Someone tried to hide something. Someone tried to keep you in the dark. But divine order will not allow darkness to stay unchallenged. Today marks the beginning of exposure, alignment, and breakthrough. Michael warns that the enemy has attempted to cloud your perception in recent days. You may have felt confusion, fatigue, or emotional distance without knowing why. That was not weakness. It was warfare. And today he declares the battle turning in your favor. He lifts his sword and says, the fog ends now. This is the moment where you rise into awareness, where your spirit stops shrinking and begins expanding. Archangel Michael wants you to open this message because what follows from this moment forward will shape the next chapter of your life. The surprising news coming to your home carries divine timing. Not early, not late, perfectly orchestrated. Stay very aware, because the next sign may appear suddenly. You might hear your phone ring at an unexpected time. You might receive a document. You might overhear something that was never meant for your ears but was meant for your destiny. Michael is positioning you to receive what has been hidden, and once it arrives, you will understand why he insisted you open this message immediately. You are not alone in this transition. You are not unprotected. You are not walking blindly. Archangel Michael has been assigned to you for a reason. There is something about your spirit, your purpose, your calling that carries weight in heaven. You think you are small, but heaven sees you as chosen. You think you are overlooked, but heaven sees you as marked. You think you are ordinary, but Archangel Michael stands guard over you like someone carrying a sacred assignment. And the message he brings today is one that demands your full attention. Before this part closes, listen closely. The next revelation is bigger than you think. It is closer than you realize. And it will make sense of something that has troubled your heart for far too long. Hold your breath for a moment, because what unfolds next is something you will not want to miss. Stay with me. The next moment will open a door you never knew existed. Type "I received this message" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Lesson code 314 is now activated over your home. Dearest one, as this new wave of revelation continues to unfold, the atmosphere around you is shifting in ways your physical senses cannot fully grasp yet. Archangel Michael moves closer, and his presence brings a deeper awareness that what is approaching your home is not just news, but a divine interruption meant to redirect the course of your life. He says that the surprising message coming toward you carries a spiritual weight that has been building for months, even if you did not notice the signs. Every delay you faced, every strange feeling you could not explain, every moment of uneasiness you experienced in recent weeks was pointing to this moment. Something hidden in the shadows has been waiting for the right time to surface, and Michael declares that the time is now. There is a spiritual law that says truth cannot remain buried when heaven decides it is time for exposure. Today, that law is activated in your life. Archangel Michael speaks of a curtain lifting, a veil tearing, a silence breaking. He reveals that this surprising news will not only shift the atmosphere of your home, but it will also release you from confusion that has held your spirit hostage. For too long you carried questions that had no answers. You felt things you could not explain. You sensed lies that were never spoken aloud. You noticed changes around you, but could not identify their source. Michael says your spirit was not wrong. Your intuition was not mistaken. You were picking up on a truth that was struggling to rise to the surface. He has been guarding the doorway of your home, not only protecting you from harm, but ensuring that the revelation coming toward you would arrive untouched by deception. He wants you to understand that heaven does not expose to embarrass you. Heaven exposes to empower you. The surprising news approaching your home is not a punishment. It is a divine revelation meant to bring alignment where confusion once lived. Michael stands with his sword lowered, but ready, symbolizing that the battle around the situation is already being won. He is not preparing to fight. He is watching the victory unfold. There is a person connected to this revelation, someone whose intentions have not been as pure as they appeared. Their actions created a spiritual imbalance around you, and heaven has decided that the cycle cannot continue. The surprising news may reveal something they said, something they did, or something they tried to conceal. Archangel Michael says that this exposure is not meant to break you, but to free you. You have been carrying weight that does not belong to you. You have been trying to understand energies that were never meant to remain in your life. Michael declares that this revelation will release you from emotional bondage and spiritual distraction. He whispers now, urging you to prepare your heart. Not with fear, not with anxiety, but with clarity. What you are about to learn will make sense of moments that puzzled you. You will suddenly understand why you felt distance from someone. You will understand why some conversations felt heavy. You will understand why your spirit felt restless in certain environments. The truth is coming to your home not as an intruder, but as a healer. Michael says that once this news comes, you must not react with impulse. Instead, stand still and allow heaven to guide your steps. Your response will shape the next part of your journey, and he promises to walk with you through every moment. He wants you to know that strength is already being placed in your spirit. You will not crumble. You will not fall apart. You will rise with understanding and authority. There is a divine orchestration happening around you. People may think events are coincidental, but heaven does nothing without intention. That is why Michael commanded you to open this message immediately. The revelation is too significant to ignore. It carries too much spiritual influence to delay. When he says surprising news is coming to your home, he means it is spiritually assigned to you. It cannot be redirected. It cannot be intercepted. It will arrive exactly when it is meant to. You may notice that in the next day or two, your mind feels more alert. Your dreams may become clearer. You may feel guided toward conversations, memories, or moments that suddenly make sense. These are signs that the revelation is drawing closer. Michael is aligning your awareness with the truth so that when the news arrives, it will not overwhelm you, but empower you. Stay attentive. Something subtle may shift in your environment soon. A message may appear at an unexpected time. A person may reach out after a long silence. A situation you thought was closed may resurface with new information. Michael says these are the stepping stones leading to the moment of full revelation. Before we move forward, take this to heart. You are stepping into a season where heaven refuses to let you live in confusion. You are entering a moment where truth becomes your shield, clarity becomes your weapon, and Archangel Michael becomes your guide. And the surprising news on its way is the first door opening. Hold steady now. What comes next carries even deeper meaning, and you will want to hear every word of what Michael reveals. The next unfolding will be even more powerful than this one. Type "I open my spirit to truth" in the comments if this message resonates with you. Blessing code 929 is now released over your life. Chosen soul, as the veil thins even further, Archangel Michael steps into your atmosphere with a presence so steady, so commanding, that your very spirit begins to recognize the magnitude of what is unfolding. He says that the revelation approaching your home is now closer than ever, almost like the final echo before a door swings open. You may not see it with your natural eyes yet, but in the spirit realm the movement is unmistakable. Something that was locked, sealed, or delayed hath been released. Michael describes it as a document of truth being carried through the heavens, descending toward you with divine precision. He wants you to understand that heaven has accelerated its timeline. What was about to unfold slowly is now coming quickly. What felt distant is now at your doorstep. This is why he commanded you on December 14th to open this message without delay. The window of revelation is active right now, and your awareness is the key that unlocks its full impact. Michael says that the surprising news coming to your home is not only an answer but also a warning and a blessing wrapped together. It reveals truth, protects your future, and exposes what tried to hide behind shadows. In the spiritual realm, Archangel Michael has already seen the ripple effects of this revelation. He shows an image of your home surrounded by a golden ring of fire, not as a symbol of danger but as a marker of divine protection. This fire ensures that whatever reaches you now is filtered through the hand of God Himself. No manipulation, no distortion, no deceit will be able to cross that circle. Only truth, clarity, and divine alignment will reach your space. That is why he says the news is surprising. Its arrival will feel sudden, its message will feel sharp, and its effect will feel cleansing. You may notice that your spirit has been unusually alert. Perhaps you have felt more introspective, more sensitive to energy, or more aware of people's intentions. That heightened sensitivity is not an accident. It is a sign that your inner being is preparing for what Michael calls the revelation shockwave. This is not a shock meant to frighten you but to awaken you. He says that the truth coming toward you will illuminate hidden motives, concealed actions, and unspoken intentions. It will make you see clearly in a place where you were once uncertain. He warns, however, that not every person tied to this revelation will celebrate the truth being revealed. Someone who tried to mask their actions may feel exposed when this news enters your home. But fear not. Michael says their discomfort is not your burden. Their reaction is simply evidence that their intentions were not aligned with you. This revelation is not about punishing them. It is about freeing you. It is about restoring your clarity, your emotional balance, and your spiritual authority. Michael reminds you that you have been sensing this shift for some time. Certain behavior didn't add up. Certain words fell off. Certain moments carried a weight you could not explain. You brushed it aside thinking you were overthinking, but heaven now confirms what your spirit already knew. You were never imagining it. You were discerning it. And now, the truth is finally catching up to your intuition. In the coming days, expect sudden clarity. Instead, again. Expect a moment where something once confusing becomes unmistakably clear. Michael says this surprising news will serve as a bridge, crossing you from uncertainty into understanding. But he urges you to stay calm, steady, and grounded when the revelation arrives. Your response will determine how the next chapter unfolds. He is not only preparing you for the moment of revelation, he is preparing you for the power that follows it. Once the truth is revealed, emotional heaviness will begin to lift. Anxiety will lose its grip. Mental fog will dissolve. You will feel an inner release so profound that you will finally understand why heaven insisted you open this message on this specific day. Let your heart not be troubled. Let your spirit not be shaken. The truth coming your way is not meant to destabilize you but to anchor you. And Archangel Michael says the moment you receive it, your discernment will increase, your insight will sharpen, and your spiritual boundaries will strengthen. Before we bring this section to a close, hear this clearly. You are being led into a moment where your spirit will no longer settle for half-truths or hidden agendas. Your soul is rising into a higher awareness, and everything that does not match that frequency will be revealed or removed. This is heaven's gift to you. Stay with this message. What unfolds next carries even deeper revelation, and you will want to walk every step of this journey with clarity. Now, continue strengthening this mission by liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs clarity, commenting your agreement, and subscribing so you remain aligned with every message released for you. Your engagement pushes this message into the paths of those who are spiritually searching. Type "I stand in divine truth" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Lesson code 440 is now released over your path. When Archangel Michael unveils truth like this, he does it not just for one home but for every soul whose heart is open. And right now, you are part of a divine mission to carry light into places where confusion once lived. As you sow into this work, you are not supporting a channel. You are igniting a spiritual fire that reaches thousands who desperately need clarity. The word says that those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed, and today that promise becomes alive in your hands. I hear this as a trigger line rising in my spirit. If you feel this message awakening something within you, then your seed is part of this awakening. Just as the surprising news comes to illuminate your home, your support helps bring heaven's illumination to others. This is not a donation. This is an act of prophetic obedience, and heaven responds to obedience with increase. Declare your alignment today through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and watch how God multiplies what you release. Go forth with authority and act now. Beloved one, as the spiritual atmosphere continues to shift around you, Archangel Michael comes forward with a deeper, more penetrating message. His voice carries a clarity that cuts through the fog of uncertainty, and he says that you are entering the critical phase of this unfolding revelation. The surprising news moving toward your home has now passed through its final spiritual barrier. It is no longer merely approaching. It is aligning itself with the exact moment it must arrive. Michael describes it as a divine package that was sealed long before you even sensed the change. And now heaven has placed it on a direct path toward you. Nothing can divert it. Nothing can delay it. Nothing can silence it. He says that over the last few days, you may have felt moments of emotional fluctuation. One moment you felt steady, the next moment restless. One moment hopeful, the next moment unsure. Michael reveals that these fluctuations were not signs of weakness but signs of spiritual adjustment. Your spirit has been expanding to receive information that carries weight, depth, and divine purpose. The closer the revelation gets, the more your inner world prepares to receive it. This is why your intuition has been sharper than usual. This is why you have been picking up subtle shifts in energy around you. You were not imagining anything. You were sensing the spiritual movement. Michael shows an image now, not meant to be taken literally, but spiritually. He reveals a door in front of you, partially open, with a brilliant light pouring through the gap. That light represents truth. The door represents destiny. And he says the surprising news entering your home will open that door wider than you have ever seen it. Once the light breaks through fully, you will understand connections that once felt confusing. You will see motives that were once hidden. You will finally know why certain things happened the way they did. Heaven never reveals without purpose, and this revelation carries a purpose that will set your spirit free. Heaven had been watching the situation tied to this upcoming revelation for a long time. What you perceived as silence was actually preparation. What you thought was delay was divine timing at work. Michael explains that heaven does not reveal truth until the heart is strong enough to receive it. And now, at this moment, your heart has reached the exact level of spiritual readiness required. You are strong enough. You are aware enough. You are aligned enough. The truth that once would have overwhelmed you will now empower you. Archangel Michael also warns that the revelation coming to your home will expose the true nature of someone whose behavior in recent months has not aligned with honesty. Your words may have sounded right, but their intentions were misaligned. Their actions may have seemed harmless, but their spirit carried conflict. This surprising news may reveal something about them, a choice they made, a truth they hid, or a moment they tried to erase. But Michael reminds you that this exposure is not meant to create bitterness. It is meant to create clarity. Once the truth is revealed, the emotional weight you have been unknowingly carrying will begin to lighten. He wants you to release any fear you feel about the revelation. Fear is the enemy's attempt to cloud the clarity heaven is bringing. Michael stands before you with his sword drawn, not to warn you of danger, but to assure you of victory. His sword is a sign that the spiritual battle surrounding this truth has already been won. The news coming your way will not destabilize you. It will anchor you. It will confirm what your spirit sensed long before your mind understood. You may notice soon that conversations around you shift. Someone may speak words they did not intend to reveal. A truth may slip through unexpectedly. A message may appear at a time you were least expecting. Michael says these are not accidents. These are divine triggers meant to prepare your heart for the full revelation. Heaven rarely reveals everything at once. It gives signs, fragments, soft moments of recognition that allow your spirit to adjust. And once the final revelation arrives, everything will connect like pieces of a divine puzzle. He urges you to remain grounded in peace. Do not let anxiety take hold. What is coming into your home is not chaos. It is clarity. It is the kind of clarity that brings understanding, closure, direction, and a renewed sense of self. You will feel yourself breathing differently, thinking differently, seeing differently. Heaven is not just revealing truth, it is reshaping your spiritual vision. Michael whispers now, and his words feel like a warm wind moving across your heart. You are ready. This readiness is not emotional, it is spiritual. Heaven has seen your endurance, your patience, your inner strength even in moments when you felt weak. And now heaven rewards you with truth, pure, unfiltered, undeniable truth. Prepare yourself, because the next wave of this revelation carries an even deeper shift. You are being led through a corridor of awakening, and the next doorway is about to open. Let your spirit stay present. Let your heart stay soft. The journey ahead holds more than you expect, and the revelation that follows will reshape the path in front of you. Before this section closes, hold this reminder close. What is coming is not meant to frighten you but to lift you. What is being revealed is not a burden, but a release. What is unfolding is not random but divinely scripted for your growth. Say with what comes next. The unfolding grows stronger from here. My spirit is ready in the comments if this message resonates with you. Lesson code 557 is now activated over your home. Precious soul, as this divine journey moves even deeper, Archangel Michael steps forward with an intensity that signals a major turning point. He says you are standing at the edge of a revelation that has been unfolding behind the scenes long before you became aware of it. The surprising news moving toward your home is no longer just a spiritual whisper. It is now echoing through the corridors of your destiny. Michael describes this moment as the quiet before a great unveiling, a stillness that often comes when heaven is preparing to shift the atmosphere around a chosen one. He reveals that you may have felt an unusual heaviness in recent days, even moments where your energy seemed to dip without explanation. That was not emotional exhaustion. It was spiritual recalibration. Your inner world was being adjusted, stretched, and aligned so that when the revelation reaches you, you can receive it without confusion, denial, or emotional collapse. Heaven is preparing you not only to hear the truth, but to handle it with clarity and spiritual authority. Michael shows another spiritual image now. He reveals a long hallway with several closed doors, and at the end of the hallway, one door stands cracked open with a beam of light shining through. That light represents the truth that could no longer stay hidden. The cracked door represents the moment you are in right now. Some truth has already begun to seep into your consciousness. You may have noticed small hints recently. A word spoken accidentally. A detail that subtly did not fit. A shift in someone's tone or behavior. Michael says these subtle signs were not coincidences. They were precursors. Heaven always sends small confirmations before the final revelation. He says the surprising news entering your home will reveal the real motive behind someone's recent behavior. There is a person whose spirit had been restless, whose actions have been inconsistent, and whose words have not matched their intentions. At times you sensed they were withholding something, but you could not pinpoint what it was. Heaven saw that too. And now, the time for truth has come. Archangel Michael says that the revelation will expose what was hidden, but it will also free you from the emotional and spiritual weight of guessing, doubting, or second-guessing yourself. You must not fear what is coming. Heaven does not reveal truth to break you. Heaven reveals truth to empower you. Michael says your home is being spiritually realigned. The energy within your space is being purified. What once felt heavy will begin to feel lighter. What once felt confusing will begin to feel clear. You will soon notice that your thoughts quiet down, your intuition sharpens, and your peace increases. These are signs that something divine is approaching. Michael also explains that this surprising news carries a double purpose. It will not only reveal what you need to know but also protect you from future harm. Had this truth remained hidden, the confusion around you would have grown. The longer deception stays concealed, the stronger it becomes. But heaven has decided that no deception will be allowed to root itself in your life. The exposure coming toward your home is heaven's way of clearing your path so that nothing corrupts your destiny. He wants you to understand something deeply important. Your spirit has been ahead of your mind for a long time. You sensed this shift before you ever understood it. You felt something changing even when you could not see it. Michael says your intuition is a gift, a spiritual radar placed within you by heaven. It helped you survive situations where your logic would have failed you. And now, your intuition will help you receive the surprising news with strength, not shock. In the next few days, Michael says the atmosphere around you may feel different. Time may seem to move slower or faster. You may feel a sudden urge to reflect, to withdraw, or to observe. These are divine prompts guiding you into alignment. Pay attention to any unexpected messages, sudden insights, or emotional nudges. Heaven communicates through subtle shifts before releasing the full revelation. Michael emphasizes that the truth coming toward you will not be vague. It will not be confusing. It will not be incomplete. It will arrive with clarity, clean, sharp, undeniable clarity. And once you receive it, you will understand why heaven waited until now. The timing had to match your readiness. Strength had to build before exposure came. Wisdom had to settle before clarity could be received. Someone may act differently around you as the revelation draws near. They may become quieter, more distant, or more defensive. Do not be alarmed. This is a spiritual reaction, a sign that truth is pressing against their spirit. People often behave strangely when they sense their hidden actions are about to surface. But again, Michael says this is not your burden to carry. It is simply confirmation that heaven's unfolding cannot be stopped. He says the next phase of this message will go even deeper into what this revelation means for your future. You are not just receiving news, you are stepping into a new spiritual chapter. Something inside you will rise. Something inside you will awaken. And what comes next will reveal why Archangel Michael urgently commanded you on December 14th to open this message without delay. Hold steady. The most powerful clarification is still ahead, and your spirit will want to hear what Michael says next. You have reached the threshold of truth, and your journey is only gaining momentum. Type "My heart welcomes clarity" in the comments if this message is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 661 is now active over your path. Sacred soul, as the spiritual curtain draws back even further, Archangel Michael steps into your atmosphere with a depth of presence that signals you are entering the most intense phase of this divine unfolding. His voice resonates like a calm thunder, steady yet powerful, and he says that the surprising news coming to your home has now reached the point of no return. It is no longer forming, no longer shifting, no longer preparing. It is finalized. Heaven has sealed it, and Michael himself is overseeing its arrival. What was once distant is now just moments away in the spiritual timeline. He reveals that the last few nights, your subconscious may have been unusually active. You may have dreamt more vividly, felt emotionally heightened, or sense things stirring beneath the surface of your awareness. This is not random. Michael explains that your inner spirit has been receiving fragments of truth, whispers of clarity, and glimpses of what is approaching. Even if you do not remember your dreams, your spirit was being prepared while you slept. Heaven does not want this revelation to overwhelm you. It wants to strengthen you. Michael shows another spiritual image now. He reveals a large book, ancient and filled with divine inscriptions. One page in the book is glowing brighter than the rest, and he says that this glowing page represents the moment of truth assigned to your life. For a long time, this page was hidden within the story, tucked behind chapters of confusion, waiting for the chosen moment to be revealed. And now, that page is turning. That revelation is rising. That truth is ready. This surprising news is not merely an update or a moment of insight. It is a divine correction. It is a realignment. Michael says it will expose something that was operating against your peace without your awareness. There is a person whose actions, choices, or concealed intentions have been affecting your emotional or spiritual equilibrium. You may have sensed tension without knowing why. You may have felt distance without explanation. You may have felt there was more beneath the surface than what you were being shown. Heaven confirms your instincts were correct. What is coming into your home will remove the blindfold that someone hoped you would never lift. But do not fear this exposure. Michael says heaven is not sending this revelation to destabilize your world, but to restore your power. Broken trust, silent doubts, and unspoken concerns have weighed on your spirit long enough. The truth entering your home will lift that weight so you can rise again with clarity and dignity. He also reveals that this surprising news will create a spiritual ripple in your environment. When truth enters a space, everything dishonest begins to fall away. People who are not aligned with your destiny may drift out of your life. Conversations may shift. Energy may clear. This may feel uncomfortable at first, but Michael says it is divine purification. Nothing that is built on lies can stay rooted when heaven releases truth into a situation. You may notice in the coming hours or days a strange sense of anticipation, as if something is approaching but you cannot name it. That sensation is your spirit detecting the truth before your mind receives it. Michael says this is one of the strongest signs that exposure is near. Pay close attention to your intuition. Pay attention to who reaches out to you unexpectedly. Pay attention to the sudden silence of those who once spoke frequently. Pay attention to accidental slips of words, unguarded reactions, or sudden emotional shifts. These are not random occurrences. These are pressure points created when hidden truth begins to surface. But Michael urges you to respond with calmness, not confrontation. He will guide you. He will steady you. He will strengthen your heart so that when the surprising news enters your home, you receive it with wisdom rather than impulse. This revelation is not just about what someone did. It is about what heaven is doing for you. Heaven is resetting your emotional balance. Heaven is reopening your spiritual eyes. Heaven is clearing your path. Michael also speaks of restoration. He says that once this news is revealed, you will begin to regain aspects of yourself that felt dimmed or drained. Your confidence will rise. Your peace will deepen. Your purpose will become clearer. You will step into a new sense of self-awareness that allows you to see people and situations without illusion. This is heaven's gift to you. The truth that once hid in shadows will now become the light that guides your steps. There is another layer he wants you to understand. Every revelation heaven sends has two sides, the exposing side and the liberating side. The exposing side shows what was hidden. The liberating side shows who you become once you are free from what was hidden. Michael says you are about to experience both. Not just the moment of truth, but the moment of transformation that follows it. You will not end this journey the same way you began it. As this message deepens, Michael urges you to stay present, because the next phase carries details that will prepare your heart even more. The truth is drawing near, and every moment you stay connected strengthens your spirit for what heaven is releasing. Before we close this section, hold on to this reminder. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into revelation. The surprising news coming to your home is not an ending, it is a beginning. And Michael stands beside you with unwavering protection. Hold steady, for the next unveiling carries even greater clarity. Type "I welcome divine revelation" in the comments if this message resonates with you. Blessing code 772 is now active over your life. Beloved heart, as this sacred unfolding moves into its next dimension, Archangel Michael steps forward with a gravity that signals the revelation is now pressing against the threshold of your life. His presence enters like a calm but unstoppable wave, and he declares that the surprising news heading toward your home has reached its final moment of intersection with your destiny. Nothing is standing in its way now. Nothing is restraining it. Heaven has authorized its release, and the truth is preparing to take form in your reality. Michael says that in the past 24 to 48 hours, there has been an unusual stirring around your spirit. You may have felt your emotions shifting rapidly, or your thoughts becoming unusually reflective. You may have sensed a tension around you that you could not explain. This is because revelation is energy. Truth carries frequency. When truth approaches, your spirit reacts before your mind understands what is happening. Michael reveals that your spirit has already begun adjusting to make room for the clarity that is coming. He shows a symbolic vision now. He reveals a room lit only by a small lamp, and in the center of the room sits a sealed envelope. The lamp represents your awareness. The envelope represents the truth that has been waiting for the right time to open. For a long while, the room was dim, and the envelope remained untouched. But suddenly, the light begins to grow brighter, illuminating the envelope from all angles. Michael says this moment we are in right now is the spiritual equivalent of that lamp increasing in intensity. Heaven is illuminating what has remained sealed. The truth is moving from hidden to visible. He explains that the surprising news entering your home will reveal the intentions of a person whose presence has silently affected your emotional environment. Their behavior may not have seemed wrong on the surface, but their spirit carried an imbalance, a duality, or a hidden uncertainty that you could feel even when you could not explain it. Heaven has watched the inner conflict they carry. Heaven has watched the inconsistency of their actions. Heaven has watched the quiet misalignment in their motives. This revelation is heaven's way of protecting you from continuing down a path clouded with confusion. Michael makes it clear that this truth will not be subtle. It will not be fragmented. It will not be ambiguous. It will arrive with a clarity sharp enough to separate illusion from reality. And although this clarity may surprise you at first, it will ultimately bring peace to your spirit. He says that what is revealed will help you understand why you have felt uneasy in certain moments, why your heart hesitated with certain decisions, and why your discernment kept nudging you even when nothing obvious appeared to be wrong. Your spirit saw the truth before your eyes did. Michael reminds you that the divine operates with perfect timing. Had this revelation come earlier, it may have caused unnecessary confusion or emotional distress. Had it come later, the hidden imbalance could have grown into something more damaging. But heaven has chosen this exact moment, December's spiritual window, for a reason. The energy of this season carries exposure, purification, and new beginnings, and your life is aligning with all three. As this revelation approaches, do not be surprised if certain individuals act differently around you. Someone may seem nervous, distant, defensive, or unusually quiet. Michael says this behavior is not about you. It is the pressure of the truth rising within their spirit. People often feel spiritual exposure before it becomes visible in the natural world. They sense the energy tightening around them. They feel the shift even if they cannot articulate it. And their behavior becomes a sign that something concealed is about to surface. Heaven, however, is not calling you to confrontation. Michael instructs you to stand still, observe, and allow the revelation to complete its journey. When heaven exposes truth, the human response must be guided, not impulsive. Do not rush to conclusions. Do not let fear interpret the revelation. Do not let emotional waves drown the clarity heaven is sending. Michael says he will steady your heart in the exact moment you receive this news. You will not be overwhelmed. You will not collapse. You will not fall into confusion. You will see clearly. He also reveals that once this surprising news reaches your home, your emotional energy will shift dramatically. A burden will lift from you, one you did not even realize you were carrying. You will feel a release in your chest, a quiet in your mind, and a growing sense of personal authority. Your spiritual perception will sharpen, and your heart will move into a new level of maturity and discernment. This is heaven's reward for your patience and your willingness to remain open to truth. Michael emphasizes that this revelation is not coming to destroy anything meant for you. It is coming to protect what is sacred within you. Your purpose, your peace, your spiritual alignment, your destiny. Anything that threatens those must be revealed so that you can continue forward without spiritual interference. As we move deeper into this message, know this: the next phase carries an even clearer picture of how this revelation will shape your future. You are being prepared with intention, strengthened with purpose, and guided with divine precision. Stay close to this unfolding, for you are approaching the moment where truth becomes undeniable and transformation begins. Type "I receive this clarity" in the comments if this message speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 884 is now released over your steps. Cherished soul, as this divine revelation enters its most electrifying stage, Archangel Michael steps before you with a strength that fills the atmosphere around your spirit. His presence feels different now, more focused, more deliberate, more commanding. He says the truth approaching your home has now reached a point where it can no longer remain concealed in the spiritual realm. It has crossed from the unseen into the edge of your physical reality, and the shift is so powerful that even the energies around you have started to behave differently. You may have felt moments today where time seemed to pause, where your thoughts became unusually sharp, or where your emotions flickered without explanation. Michael says this is because the truth is now brushing against the door of your life. He reveals a symbolic image of a sealed box placed on a doorstep, radiating a faint light. The box represents the surprising news heaven had been preparing for you. The doorstep represents your home. What with once traveling, once forming, once shifting, is now arriving. The light symbolizes the clarity this revelation carries, and the sealed nature of the box represents heaven's protection over this truth until it reaches your hands. Michael says the box is now inches away from being opened, and when it opens, your spirit will immediately understand why heaven orchestrated this moment with such precision. Someone connected to this revelation had been wrestling within themselves. Their conscience had been unsettled, their emotions inconsistent, their behavior unpredictable. Michael says this inner conflict is the result of truth rising to the surface. People feel exposed spiritually before anything becomes visible physically. You may have noticed them withdrawing, speaking less, avoiding certain topics, or acting strangely. These shifts are not meaningless. They are signals of a revelation pressing against their spirit. What they tried to hide has reached its expiration. What they hoped would remain buried is now rising through divine timing. Michael emphasizes that the surprising news reaching your home will not be gentle in its clarity. It will arrive with the sharpness of truth, the certainty of justice, and the purity of divine alignment. And although this truth may challenge your perceptions at first, it will ultimately empower you. This revelation is not meant to damage your heart but to free it. It is not meant to weaken you but to awaken you. Heaven reveals only when your spirit is ready to stand with strength, and Michael says your spirit is stronger now than ever before. Heaven has watched your patience, your endurance, your quiet suffering, your silent discernment. Heaven has seen the moments where your intuition whispered truths that your mind could not yet confirm. Heaven has witnessed your inner conflict, your desire to trust, your suspicions that something was off, your heart's attempt to find balance between loyalty and clarity. And now, the divine has chosen to intervene, not because you ask, but because the time for confusion has ended. Archangel Michael says the surprising news will do three things simultaneously. First, it will reveal a truth that was hidden behind emotional masks or false assurances. Second, it will remove a spiritual weight from your chest, one you have carried unknowingly for far too long. Third, it will guide you toward a new path of emotional and spiritual strength where you are no longer blind to energy, no longer vulnerable to dissection, and no longer tolerating uncertainty. This revelation marks the beginning of a new version of you. He says not to fear the moment this truth arrives. Fear is a shadow, and truth is a sword. And when truth enters a home protected by Archangel Michael, shadows cannot remain. You will feel a shift in your breathing, a release in your heart, a clarity in your perception. The things that once confused you will suddenly make sense. Behaviors that puzzled you will become transparent. The emotional fog that clouded your understanding will fall away. In the coming days, you may notice certain signs that the revelation is only moments away. A sudden message, an unexpected confession, a conversation that slips into truth, a detail that finally connects. Michael says these signs are not random. They are the final tremors before the moment of unveiling. Heaven is aligning circumstances so that nothing can interrupt what is meant to be revealed. He urges you to hold your composure when the moment comes. Do not rush. Do not react impulsively. Do not allow emotional turbulence to cloud the clarity heaven is giving you. Instead, allow the truth to settle. Allow your spirit to breathe. Allow Michael to stand beside you, guiding your thoughts, steadying your emotions, strengthening your heart. He has been preparing you for this moment from the very beginning. You must understand one thing. The truth coming into your home is not the end of anything good. It is the end of confusion, hidden motives, and emotional imbalance. It is the beginning of alignment, clarity, direction, and spiritual vision. You will not break, you will rise. You will not crumble, you will awaken. You will not lose. You will gain a level of clarity you have been unknowingly praying for. Before I close this section, Michael gives a clear whisper. What comes next will shift everything. Stay present, because the next revelation deepens your transformation. Like this message, share it so others receive clarity, comment your agreement, and subscribe so every divine message reaches you in perfect timing. Your engagement strengthens the mission of spreading truth and spiritual awakening. Type "I am ready for divine truth" in the comments if this speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 933 is now released over your path. As this revelation draws closer, heaven is using this very message to awaken hearts across the world. When you stand with this mission, you are not supporting a creator. You are helping Archangel Michael's voice reach souls who are drowning in confusion and searching for truth. The scriptures speak of light breaking into darkness, and today that light flows through your act of giving. I hear this rising within me as a divine trigger line. If your spirit is being stirred, then heaven is prompting you to sow into the very word that is guiding you. Just as surprising truth is entering your home, your support helps truth enter the homes of those who need it desperately. This is not a donation. This is a prophetic action that heaven honors with increase and open doors. Stand with this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and watch God release a greater measure into your life. Act now, with authority and purpose. Beloved Spirit, as this unfolding revelation enters an even deeper realm, Archangel Michael steps closer than he has in any previous moment, and his presence surrounds you with a profound sense of inevitability. He says the surprising news moving toward your home has now aligned perfectly with the divine clock. Not early, not late, exactly timed, exactly positioned, exactly calibrated for your awakening. You're standing in a moment where heaven itself leans in, watching the transition of truth as it prepares to enter your reality. The veil between what you sense and what you will soon know is now thinner than a breath. Michael reveals that in the last day, you may have felt something unusual shifting inside you. A deep stillness, an uneasiness, a sudden emotional clarity, or even a strange sense of expectation without a clear reason. He says these sensations are not random. They are evidence that your intuition has begun to synchronize with heaven's revelation. Before truth reaches your ears, it reaches your spirit. Before news arrives at your home, it arrives at your awareness. Heaven ensures your heart is prepared before your mind receives the full picture. He shows a symbolic vision now. You stand before a large mirror made of crystal. At first, the reflection is fogged, blurred, obscured by uncertainty. Then slowly, clarity begins to spread through the glass until the reflection becomes sharp, undeniable, unmistakable, impossible to ignore. Michael says this mirror represents your perception. For a long time, you saw through fog. For a long time, you sensed more than you understood. But as the surprising news draws closer to your home, the fog is dissolving. And soon, you will see the truth with the kind of clarity that cannot be questioned. He says this revelation will expose the hidden intentions of someone whose presence in your life has carried both light and shadow. This person did not always act with ill intent, but their choices, their fears, or their secrecy created a spiritual imbalance around you. It is that imbalance heaven is addressing. Michael emphasizes that this revelation is not about blaming or punishing, but about restoring harmony to your emotional and spiritual environment. Your heart deserves peace. Your spirit deserves alignment. Your life deserves truth. You may have noticed moments where conversations felt different. Words carried unspoken weight. Silences felt heavier than usual. Michael says your spirit was picking up on what your mind could not yet decode. Heaven allowed you to feel the truth before revealing it so that when the surprising news arrives, it will not break you. It will confirm what your intuition already whispered. Heaven had been protecting your heart throughout this entire process. Michael says he has stood at the entrance of your home, watching over you like a guardian carved from pure flame. He has blocked negative influences, intercepted emotional harm, and prevented further confusion from entering your space. This upcoming revelation is the final step in a cleansing process heaven began months ago, even before you realized it was happening. He explains that when truth is about to surface, energy behaves differently. People behave differently. Situations feel unstable, and you begin to sense that something is approaching even if you cannot define it. That is exactly where you are now. The air around your spirit is charged with the weight of what is coming. Heaven is positioning you with extraordinary precision so that when the surprising news reaches your home, you will receive it with strength rather than shock. Michael urges you to remain calm in this transition. He says that as truth approaches, fear often tries to disguise itself as intuition. Worry tries to disguise itself as preparation. Anxiety tries to disguise itself as foresight. But heaven draws a clear line between fear and discernment. Fear clouds the mind. discernment sharpens it. What you feel rising in you right now is not fear, it is readiness. He adds that this revelation will bring immediate clarity to several questions you have carried quietly in your heart. Questions about someone's distance. Questions about someone's inconsistency. Questions about a situation that never quite made sense. The surprising news will bring all of these pieces together in a way that makes you exhale in understanding. It will not confuse you. It will illuminate you. Michael also says that this truth will mark a turning point in your emotional landscape. After this revelation, you will no longer seek closure from people who cannot provide it. You will no longer doubt your intuition. You will no longer suppress your inner knowing for the sake of harmony. This moment is designed to elevate you, to sharpen you, to strengthen the way you navigate relationships and spiritual energy. Heaven is leading you into a version of yourself that sees clearly and stands firmly. A version of yourself that no longer accepts half-truths or emotional uncertainty. Michael says this transformation is not about becoming harder. It is about becoming wiser. Not about becoming colder. It is about becoming aligned. As this message deepens, remember that the next phase of revelation will carry even more detail, more insight, and more divine confirmation. What comes after this is meant to prepare you for the emotional and spiritual shift that follows the moment of truth. Hold this close as we close this part. You are not standing at the end of something. You are standing at the beginning of your clarity. The truth coming toward your home is not here to hurt you. It is here to set you free. Stay present. The journey continues, and the next unveiling will move your spirit in ways you do not expect. Type "I embrace the coming truth" in the comments if this message resonates deeply with you. Blessing code 505 is now active over your atmosphere. Beloved one, as this divine unfolding enters a new depth, Archangel Michael steps forward with a presence that feels stronger, heavier, almost charged with the electricity of truth. He says the surprising news moving toward your home has now reached the threshold of manifestation. It is no longer circulating in the spiritual realm. It is no longer preparing itself. It is descending. The truth that once lived in shadows is now standing at the edge of your world, waiting for the exact moment to reveal itself. Michael declares that this moment is closer than ever, so close that your spirit has already begun to adjust, expand, and brace for what is coming. He reveals that in the past day or two, you may have felt disconnected from your usual routines, as if your mind drifted elsewhere without your intention. You might have felt distracted, thoughtful, or even emotionally heightened in ways that surprised you. Michael says this is not emotional instability. It is spiritual alignment. Your inner being recognizes that something significant is about to shift, and it is preparing to receive the truth with full awareness and clarity. He shows a symbolic image now. You are standing in the middle of a large circle drawn in light. Outside this circle, shapes move, signals flicker, whispers travel like faint ripples. But inside the circle, there is absolute stillness. Michael explains that this circle represents divine protection. As the surprising news approaches your home, heaven is ensuring that nothing chaotic, misleading, or harmful crosses your boundaries. Only truth, only clarity, only revelation can enter. You are being shielded from confusion so that when the truth comes, you will discern it instantly. Michael reveals that the truth heading toward you involves a person who has carried dual intentions, one visible, one hidden. Their actions were inconsistent, not because they wished to hurt you, but because they struggled with honesty within themselves. They attempted to conceal certain pieces of their reality, hoping the hidden parts would never surface. But heaven has watched them closely. Heaven has seen the silent conflict in their heart. Heaven has heard the unspoken words, the hesitations, the concealed motives, and now the divine has decided that clarity must enter your life. For the sake of your peace, your emotional strength, and your spiritual path, he emphasizes that the revelation will not harm you. It will free you. It will give you a spiritual advantage you did not have before. For too long, you lived in a place of uncertainty regarding this person or situation. You sensed the imbalance. You noticed the inconsistencies. You felt the shifts. And yet you questioned your intuition, doubting whether the spiritual signals you felt were real. Archangel Michael says your intuition was never wrong. What you sensed was simply ahead of what you could see. The truth was always there, waiting for the divine timing to unlock it. He explains that the surprising news will bring sudden clarity, a sharp correction to a path that had begun to drift off course. It will realign you, reawaken you, and reconnect you to your inner authority. After this revelation, your decisions will no longer be clouded by someone else's secrecy. Your heart will no longer carry emotional weight that doesn't belong to you. Your spirit will no longer stand in the fog of half-truths. Everything will sharpen. Everything will become clear. Everything will make sense. Michael says that as the moment draws closer, you may notice several internal signs. You might feel a sudden burst of intuition, a moment of emotional intensity, or even a strange calmness that feels almost unnatural. This is your spirit settling into alignment with truth. Heaven always prepares the heart before unveiling what the mind has yet to grasp. If you feel a sudden urge to reflect or withdraw from noise, follow that instinct. Your spirit is making room for clarity. He also explains that this revelation will create a shift in your environment. Certain energies around you will dissipate. Certain conversations will feel different. Certain people may reveal themselves unintentionally through their behavior. When truth is rising, the atmosphere always changes. Do not ignore these indicators. They are divine signals guiding you through the final moments before the revelation arrives. Michael warns gently that the truth may come unexpectedly. A message, a confession, a slip of words, a discovery, a moment where everything clicks. It may arrive in the quiet of the morning or the stillness of night. Heaven chooses the moment that protects you, strengthens you, and awakens you simultaneously. And when it comes, you will feel something shift inside you. Not fear, not shock, but recognition. You will sense that your spirit already knew, and this is simply the confirmation. He says the next phase after the revelation will be even more important, because that is when clarity turns into transformation. You will begin to walk differently. You will trust yourself more deeply. You will make decisions from a place of spiritual power rather than emotional vulnerability. Michael has been preparing you not just for the revelation, but for the strength that will rise within you afterward. Before we close this part, hear this final whisper from Archangel Michael. The truth coming to your home is a divine gift. It is the answer to a question you stopped asking out loud. It is the clarity your heart has quietly prayed for. And it is coming with heaven's blessing, not earthly chaos. Stay close, for the next unfolding carries the emotional and spiritual shift that follows revelation. Type "My spirit welcomes the truth" in the comments if this message resonates with you. Blessing code 717 is now activated over your path. Precious soul, as we step into this next deep wave of revelation, Archangel Michael comes forward with a presence that feels unmistakably decisive. The atmosphere around you is no longer simply shifting. It is tightening, concentrating, preparing itself for a moment that has been divinely timed. Michael says the surprising news that has been approaching your home with steady momentum is now so near that the spiritual air around you is vibrating with a quiet intensity. You may have felt it, an unexplainable heaviness at certain moments, or an unexpected clarity washing over you like a tide. These sensations are not imagination. They are spiritual indicators that truth is seconds away from crossing the threshold of your life. Michael reveals a symbolic image of a door made of transparent light. Behind the door stands a figure holding a scroll. The figure does not force its way forward, it waits. The scroll represents the truth. The door represents your readiness. And the moment the door fully opens is the moment when heaven allows the revelation to enter your world. Michael says the door is no longer closed. It is no longer cracked. It is swinging open. The truth that once waited behind it is now stepping forward. Heaven has decided your waiting season is over. Michael explains that this surprising news has been building energy for a long time. Every hesitation you felt, every emotional nudge, every quiet suspicion, every moment something didn't feel right, these were not signs of overthinking. They were the whispers of truth trying to surface. Heaven does not allow a sensitive spirit like yours to wander without guidance. And now, the guidance you needed is becoming visible. He says the revelation will involve someone whose emotional honesty faltered, someone who carried two truths within themselves, one they lived and one they hid. This person may not have intended harm, but their hidden fear, confusion, or secret created a spiritual imbalance that affected you more deeply than they understood. Michael emphasizes that heaven is not exposing this to cause emotional harm, but to restore your alignment. For too long, you were positioned in unclear energy, navigating invisible boundaries your spirit could feel but your mind could not define. Heaven is bringing an end to that fog. Michael reveals that a spiritual correction is now occurring around you. You may feel moments of heightened sensitivity. You may find yourself noticing small details you previously overlooked. You may feel detached from certain people or conversations without knowing why. These reactions are not coincidences. They are the soul reacting to truth before the mind can articulate what is happening. It is the way heaven prepares you without overwhelming you. He also explains that as the revelation moves closer, the person connected to this truth may experience internal conflict. They may withdraw, speak less, seem tense, or behave unpredictably. It is not anger, not avoidance. It is the pressure of a truth rising within them. Humans feel spiritual exposure before they recognize it consciously. Their spirit senses what is coming. Their body reacts. Their words stumble. Their behavior shifts. These are signs that the truth is already unfolding beneath the surface. But Michael says clearly, this is not for you to fix, carry, or soften. Your role is to receive the truth with clarity, not cushion someone else's discomfort. Heaven is handling the emotional weight. Heaven is guiding the timing. Heaven is orchestrating the moment with perfect precision. He reminds you that truth, when divinely delivered, is surgical. It cuts away what confuses. It cleanses what has been polluted. It restores what has been weakened. This revelation will not leave you broken. It will leave you awakened. You will not crumble. You will rise. You will not lose. You will gain a deeper understanding of yourself, your intuition, and your divine protection. Michael says that once this news reaches your home, something inside you will shift permanently. You will see situations more clearly. You will trust your inner knowing more boldly. You will no longer question the signals heaven sends you. This moment is a rite of passage, a transition from uncertainty to spiritual authority. Heaven has spent months preparing you for this, even in moments when you did not realize preparation was taking place. Every tear shed in confusion, every moment of doubt, every time you sensed something but had no proof. All of it was guiding you toward this exact moment in your journey. Michael shows another symbolic vision now. A compass begins to spin wildly, then suddenly locks into a single direction with perfect accuracy. He says that this is your spirit after the revelation. For too long, you tried to navigate without full truth. But once the surprising news enters your home, your internal compass will snap into alignment. You will know exactly what to do. You will know exactly where to walk. You will know exactly what choices reflect your spiritual truth. Heaven is giving you direction, not confusion. As this part comes to a close, Michael urges your spirit to stay open, steady, and grounded. The next unfolding will carry the emotional weight and spiritual power of the moment the revelation arrives. You are entering the most pivotal section of this divine journey, and your spirit will want to hear every word of what comes next. Type "I am prepared for my breakthrough" in the comments if this message is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 828 is now activated over your life. Beloved soul, we have now reached the most powerful moment of this entire divine unfolding. Archangel Michael steps into your atmosphere with a radiance that feels like the sun breaking through after a long night. His presence is no longer a whisper, no longer a gentle nudge. It is a full unveiling. He says the surprising news that has been traveling, forming, rising, and gathering momentum is no longer approaching. It is here. It stands at the doorway of your reality, ready to cross the threshold and reveal what heaven has kept protected until the exact moment when your heart was strong enough to receive it. Michael explains that everything you felt over these past days, the tension, the anticipation, the sudden clarity, the emotional stirrings, were all signs that truth had already begun entering your spiritual field. You were not imagining anything. Your spirit recognized the vibration of revelation long before your physical world caught up. Heaven always informs the soul before it informs the mind. And now, the time has come for the mind to see what the spirit has been preparing for. He shows a symbolic image, a curtain that has been tightly drawn for months suddenly releasing and falling away with a single pull. Like floods into the room. Dust that once floated unnoticed becomes visible. Corners that were shrouded in dimness become exposed. This is the revelation entering your home. It is not arriving to create chaos. It is arriving to illuminate. It is not coming to tear apart. It is coming to reveal what has needed clarity so that you can finally rise into the next chapter of your life without the fog of uncertainty around you. Michael says the surprising news will bring immediate understanding. Something you question will suddenly make sense. Something you sensed will be confirmed. Something that was said, done, or hidden will snap into alignment with your intuition. And the moment it happens, your soul will release a breath it has been holding for far too long. This revelation is not just information. It is liberation. It is the freeing of your mind, the strengthening of your boundaries, the sharpening of your discernment. Heaven has watched you walk through confusion with grace. Heaven has watched you carry emotional weight with quiet endurance. Heaven has watched you trust your intuition even when you doubted whether it was real. Michael says heaven honors every moment you remained open, patient, and spiritually receptive, and it is for this reason that the revelation arrives with blessing attached. What is coming to your home will not only expose a truth, it will open a path. He says this surprising news involves someone whose energy had been unsettled around you. Their behavior, their choices, where their hidden fears created instability in your emotional field. But heaven is not revealing this to cause heartbreak. Heaven is revealing this so you can finally stand in clarity. For too long, you were asked, sometimes silently, to navigate a situation without the information you needed. Heaven is correcting that imbalance now. Truth is entering to restore what confusion stole from you. Once the revelation lands, your spirit will step into a new phase. You will become more discerning, more grounded, more anchored. You will trust your inner knowing as a sacred instrument. You will feel your spirit rise to a new level of maturity. Everything that once felt blurry will now feel clear. Everything that once felt chaotic will now feel aligned. Michael says you must allow the revelation to settle. Do not rush. Do not react impulsively. Let truth wash over you like a tide. Let clarity cleanse what needs cleansing. Let understanding replace what once felt uncertain. Heaven has prepared your heart for this moment, and Michael will stand beside you as you process every layer. He reveals another symbolic vision now. A tree with roots once tangled and unhealthy begins to separate, straighten, and embed themselves deeper into the soil. As you after this revelation, your foundation strengthens, your identity steadies, your spiritual grounding grows deeper and more secure. This moment will not weaken you, it will plant you. As this journey reaches its completion, Michael gives one final whisper. You are entering a season where nothing hidden will remain hidden, nothing unclear will remain unclear, and nothing meant for you will ever be touched by deception again. What is coming next in your life is built on truth, purity, spiritual strength, and divine alignment. This completes the revelation. The truth is here. Step forward with your spirit open and your heart ready, for the next chapter of your life begins the moment clarity arrives. Now strengthen this mission. Like this message, comment with your agreement, share it so others may walk into their own truth, and subscribe so every divine message reaches you in its perfect timing. Type "I step into my divine clarity" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 1001 is now being released over your life. As this sacred message reaches its completion, understand that what has entered your home today is not just truth, it is divine alignment. When you support this mission, you are helping carry the same awakening into the lives of thousands who are still walking in darkness, confusion, and emotional uncertainty. Scripture speaks of the light shining into hidden places, and today that light has touched your path. I feel this rising as a divine trigger line. If this message has opened your eyes, then heaven is calling you to help open the eyes of others. Just as Archangel Michael guided this revelation into your home, your support allows these messages to reach those who desperately need clarity. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic act, a spiritual sowing that heaven always honors with overflow, protection, and new doors. Stand boldly with this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and declare your alignment with truth. Step forward now with faith and authority.